You're the fool.
Yeah, that's real, alright.
Unknown Space Radio.
Louise,
The show you're tuned into right now was put together by students and staff enrolled in the broadcasting courses in the radio television department at San Joaquin Delta College.
Louise Lua. Who is your savior? Louise Lua. Oh, wow.
Thanks for listening and supporting college radio. Unknown Space Radio, Season 2, Year of the Fool.
Yo, welcome back to Unknown Space Radio. I'm Tom Arganda, and Alex is here. Not really. I'm recording this on my own just because I'm a control freak, and I think he's playing Tarkov or something. But this is a LOOSIES episode, so you're gonna hear cut topics from the last few episodes, and more topics maybe that we just didn't want to make a full episode out of. Hope you enjoy.
Episode 6, Risen Zombies, Celestial Virgins, Magic Tricks.
Alright, so there's this other, I don't know, because religion is fascinating for me, and I do sometimes, again, wish I had been brought up with it more sometimes, but it'll be, obviously, like I said, it'd be hard for me to get into it now, trying to,
with everything you've experienced.
With everything I've experienced, convincing myself otherwise. But to be honest, at this point also, there's kind of a traumatizing factor of religion for me. And it's because my only exposure that I ever get through all of these years that I've been alive, the most exposure to religion I've ever gotten has been funerals and such.
I knew exactly where you're going with that.
Yeah, and it's harsh to say because I do find religion fascinating, but it's like when I see a cross, when I see Jesus on the cross, it's hard for me to not think about dead relatives. It's, like I said, just kind of a traumatizing experience because that's the only, exposure that I have to religion through these years.
I understand what you're saying because I've been to a few funerals as a kid, and there's so much prayer happening, and everything that everyone is saying is to God, So I understand where you're coming from there.
When I see a church, it's like I can't help but see these dead faces of relatives and just people crying. It's like, because religion is this thing that oftentimes uplifts you, I can never gravitate towards it because every time it was supposed to uplift me, I guess it brought me down.
Just do it. Just do it. If we use it, we use it. We don't. So, I was thinking about something the other day. It's kind of crazy because, I don't know, I just think it's just a crazy idea. I don't believe in this idea, but I can totally see it being something. But do you think, because everyone talks about it, whether they're religious or not, do you think karma is a form of religion?
Was your dog just growling?
No, that was a truck that drove by.
Oh, do I think karma is a form of religion? Sort of like, refreshing my memory. Karma is basically bad things come to those that commit bad things.
And good things come to those who do good things.
Oh. I could see it as like an ultimate, I'm not sure religion, but I could see it as like I'm not sure religion just because that's kind of like a universal belief, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but wouldn't that make it a religion then? Do you think that gives it potential to be a religion?
I wouldn't say so because it's not really a whole system of beliefs, as opposed to just one belief.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see how it could fit in there.
It affects people's way of living, though. Also,
yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. Maybe because it just makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Or do you think that just goes back to the balance of life?
I think that might be balance as well. All right, so obviously you look at these books like the Bible, and a lot of religion is based around I don't want to say deciphering, but, a lot of it is up for interpretation and such. And at the same time, you know how there's a lot of Catholic priests that happen to be pedophiles and such. There are a lot of Bible verses that kind of support pedophilia. And I like wonder sometimes if that has it's at some point, it's not a coincidence that 300 out of 900 Catholic priests in a single state are like named in a grand jury pedophilia case. And there's these Bible verses that kind of support it. And the Bible verses I'm talking about, and of course, anybody could disagree with me. These are always up for interpretation, and that's what a lot of religion is built around, of course. But Exodus 21:7-10, Judges 21:20-23, Judges 21:7-11, Deuteronomy 20:10-14,
Dang, dude.
Numbers 31:1-18, and I'm probably not even saying those numbering right, so I'm sorry if I'm messing up, but at some point it just becomes not a coincidence, and that's just something I think about a lot. Because again, I don't remember what state it was, but there was, I don't remember what state it was, but 300 out of the 900 that were the Catholic priests in that state were named in like a grand jury of, a pedophilia case. And there's obviously a lot more from there. And the Catholic Church hides a lot of it as well. Religion fascinates me, but there is a really stigma I have towards it because it does create a giant divide in humanity. But
when you have people judging people about their religion and aspects of their religion, just as much people would with like the color of other people's skin, like it can be that bad. Yeah.
And we've seen it get that bad multiple times in history and even now.
Episode 8, Perfect World Theory.
And with that, because I have a point right here, and a lot of the things that burden us, especially on this show, which we've made very clear since episode 1, are our thoughts. Because what burdens us the most are our thoughts. Obviously the darker thoughts, I suppose, the more nostalgic thoughts, the thoughts that make us feel opposite of good, I guess. What would you like the ability to abandon thoughts?
Dude, I feel like we've talked about this like twice. Like, I'd rather feel nothing than just feeling bad.
We did talk about this on the other.
I know for sure the last episode we did.
But in this situation, I'm even talking about, thoughts are not just things you're, what I mean is also perhaps even memories.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, give up being able to remember things. No, I wouldn't.
Sometimes I really wish I could just give up. Because it's like, I don't know. I'll turn... Poetically, I might think I'm done with this chapter, but every time I think I'm done, it's like 10 more pages, appear. And it'd be the same chapter since like 2015. And that's annoying. So it's like, I don't know.
I mean, I would just have to say that, like, if we turned off our ability to remember and to like really think on the past, then you can't grow. You can't grow as a human being, and you can't grow, and you can't move forward, because that's the problems with a lot of people, is that they refuse to grow. They refuse to accept the past, and that's the root of growth, is being able to accept the past.
And I totally understand that, but it's like, I don't know, it's these memories that are burdening me that aren't making me move forward. But maybe that's just a personal problem. Maybe I haven't found a way to
grow with them.
channel that energy into growing, I suppose, which is a harsh part because here I am dying in my room. I think this is a question we've like briefly discussed on the love episode last season, and this is not even, this is kind of a general question somewhat, because while a lot of this perfect world we're talking about is somewhat centric to us, hopefully people are relating though. That's been the goal since episode 1. But this question is because the world we live in right now, not even our personal world, this is the entire world at large, is far from perfect. It's far from even good. Maybe it's okay, but it might be even far from okay. With this world that we're living in, would you want to bring kids into it?
Yeah, we did talk about this. This was, I think, one of our topics in the love episode.
It might have been.
But you still want to talk about it?
I do want to talk about it because I don't think we went as in depth to it. And from the love episode, the world has only gotten a lot more worse. So I figure like our answers are like might be different.
I don't know. It's really hard to say. I feel like everyone will always give that answer. It depends on who you're like raising a kid with, and I agree with that. But at the same time too, I feel like as, I don't mean to be like all like, you know, man, you know, and like super sexist, but as like as a male, I feel like there's an obligation that I have to protect my family, right? And I feel like, well, one, I'm tiny, so like I have a hard time with that as it is. But two, there's a lot of just like sick and disgusting people out there that it is really going to challenge you as a person to protect your family. And there's a lot that you can't control. There's going to be a time where your kid grows up and you're not going to be able to control what your kid does and what the world does to your kid. And like,
that's a good way to put it, what the world does to your kid.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think of the idea of one day maybe having kids, but it's really hard to imagine that because of how bad things can get.
I definitely understand that. Yeah, and see, it's because, like, I don't know, this mostly comes to my head when maybe, I don't know, families talking about, you know, one day when you have kids, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that, which obviously it's not like they're putting pressure on me, like, have kids. But it does make me think, like, do I want kids? And maybe it's like a matter of true love, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that sounds corny.
No, because that's what I was saying too. Like, what depends on the person.
Yeah, maybe someday I'll just be really in love with the person that I'm like, you know, with you. Maybe you're the exception, and that's probably cheesy. But right now in my room at 1:26 a.m. I gotta say no. That might be a deal breaker, to be honest, because this world again is not perfect and it's dangerous. And you know, the idea of some kid that I don't even know yet, I suppose, inheriting this really bad world when we ourselves have already inherited a pretty bad world.
Yeah. And I don't see it getting any better.
Yeah. It just makes you think how long till this human experiment is over.
There's another thing that scares me about. I know this is a little off topic, and I think this might be better for like a Loosie's topic, but now that we're here, I kind of want to talk about it. But there's another thing that really scares me about having a kid is the more I've been thinking about it, the more that I see that it's prevalent in my parents as well. But when I watched Legion, it really got me because, spoiler alert for Legion, you find out that Charles Xavier is his dad, and like his dad was deathly afraid of like giving the demon that was in his head that he was fighting to his son, right? And it really messed me up because I started thinking about like there's something not all that great in my head, you know? And I obviously growing up saw that in my parents, and I didn't realize it until like recently that there's probably something wrong with them that they gave to me, you know? And that's something I'm afraid of, like giving something wrong to my kid, and they have to deal with the things that I went through and feel as alone as I do, and really like struggle through a lot mentally. It scares me to bring life into the world because I don't want to curse them with that, you know?
It's hard to bring life when it's like you don't even enjoy yours. It's hard to imagine giving this really terrible, god-awful experience to somebody else. And maybe circumstances will be better for them, I think. I mean, you know, as a father, I'm not a father, by the way. I don't know why I worded it like that, but like a father, I think a lot of maybe a good father. I think a lot of their mission would probably be to give them a better life than they had as a child. And maybe that's just the energy someone needs. But again, going back to true love, because hopefully it finds you in the end. Maybe there's somebody out there that'll change your mind.
We're going to take a short PSA break, but we'll be back here on Delta College Radio 93.5 KWDC.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes? Their age? The way they speak? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for summer
break because she may not be having lunch again until September?
Or a single father of 2 who works 3
part-time jobs and still can't put enough food on the table?
Or maybe a mother who cleans offices at night,
hoping to find meeting leftovers to take home to her hungry family.
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing
a job and getting back on his feet.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
All right. So one thing I didn't get to talk about that I wanted to talk about in the religion episode was, I guess, like, my belief in, like, the universe. I'm sure that might be something you've heard of before.
Maybe. Have you talked about it on another episode?
I don't think so. I would say if I don't believe in, like, God, I kind of sort of believe in, like, the universe. Like, you know, and that like, includes, like karma and stuff.
Fate sort of. And stuff.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know, man. Like,
I think we've had a loose conversation on this before.
Yeah, or it's basically like there's good things. You do good things would come to you. You do bad things would come to you.
Yeah. Karma.
It's kind of sort of, yeah, like karma. Like, it does have to do a lot with karma, but, like, I don't know. I think my belief in the universe. I used to believe in the universe a lot. Like, I used to do a lot of good things, and not because I wanted to, like, be rewarded for it, but I just had high hopes with the universe and hope that the universe would reward me for, you know, going through bad stuff or doing good stuff when I could have done something bad. And like I said, I don't think it was anything I was ever, like, really expecting to happen. Like, come on, universe, do this for me, you know? I'm doing this. It's more of like, I would think that the universe would just give me a break, and I feel like the universe just hasn't given me a break in so long, and it's just bad after bad after bad that just happens. And, like, because of that, I feel like my belief in the universe is, like, severely diminished. Or, like, there's so much that I hope for to happen and work for, and it just doesn't work in my favor. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm sounding crazy talking about this, but I feel like if like, you know, the universe does reward, like, you know, people who do good, I feel like there would have been something good that would have happened to me lately. But I feel like I've been on a streak of, like, 2 years, 3 years of just bad stuff happening over and over, and I haven't seen any good come in sight.
Yeah, no, I understand. Because it's like, I mean, not that everything is down for me, but, you know, there's times where I do want a bigger break. I'm always going to want more than my current circumstances. And that's not to say my current circumstances are bad. I very much believe in the universe in that way. I think I'm going to get a lot further being a good person. Even if my life doesn't go the way I want it to, I believe I'm going to get a lot further being a good person than as opposed to being a bad person. That's going to set me a lot back. And I believe in the universe to that extent, but it's not really the universe at that point, because in reality, that's all within me. That's me. That's my power. I have the power to move myself forward. And I do that, even if it's really slow. I believe in the universe to an extent, but I also believe that, not even believe, I know that the universe doesn't owe me anything. Like I've said before.
I agree with that. And like I said, like I'm not like expecting anything to happen.
Yeah.
Because I do something good.
Mm-hmm. And like, I mean, we've only talked about this off air, but how basically the chances of us being here alive were a lot lower than not being here. And as far as the universe goes, I think that's the most it could do for me. Past that, it's on me. That's on my surroundings, I suppose.
You mean like keeping us alive and healthy is the universe doing good and rewarding us?
More so just having us here. And that's the first step into this comedy, I suppose. And then from there, that's just on us. Play your part and get as far as you could within this sad drama. I went from calling it a comedy to a drama. It's all the same to me.
I want to go back to you were saying like you're gonna get further doing good than bad, and like no, I agree with that. I'm not gonna like intentionally defy my morals and stuff because like I don't know, what I would define as having good morals isn't working. I'm not gonna flip the switch and be like, oh, I'm gonna just like do whatever I want and blah 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 blah, and like yeah, I mean. A friend and I had a conversation about like a while ago, like after seeing a concert, we were like, but there's consequences and stuff. You can't just do whatever you want. And he was like, no, I can do whatever I want. And if I wanted to walk out this restaurant without paying the bill, I could do that. And I was like, but you can't do that because it's going to catch up to you eventually. It's like, and he was like, no, it won't. How will it? And he's like, we basically just had like a long argument about how actions have consequences, and he was basically saying no, they don't.
I get where he's coming from, to be honest, but it's like, you know, we have this power to do whatever we want, and that's because I think 99.9% of this life is all subjective. It's law itself is subjective. Killing a man, whether that's good or bad, that's subjective. That's a matter of opinion. But at the same time, it's like these laws are so obvious. There's a reason why we don't go out and kill a man, because that's going to obviously have consequences. There's a reason why we don't pay bills. That's going to have consequences. Law is subjective. I can do whatever I want, but it's going to catch up to me. And it's not going to get me any further. Do you believe in the universe as a force that may bring about good and bad? Good to those who deserve it and bad to those who deserve it?
I mean, the way I see it is that I'd like to believe in some sort of entity like that, just to bring myself some, sense of comfort, if that makes any sense.
But do you actually believe in it?
I'd say yeah, just because I feel that everything is almost too perfect, in a sense that, you know, everything's kind of fallen in place at just the right time. That there's really no way something can't be in control of all of that.
Unknown Space Radio, Season 2, Year of the Fool has been a production of KWDC 93.5 LPFM, Delta College Radio. This program is made possible by listeners like you. Programming is produced by the students, staff, and faculty of San Joaquin Delta College's Radio Television Department. It is supported by the Delta College Department of Arts, Humanities and Multimedia, the Career Technical Education, and Workplace Development Office, and the State of California. Thank you for listening. Unknown Space Radio. Tom Argonda, Alex Solon.